Hey you guys, so I'm here today to do my first tutorial. I've never done a tutorial before, so please bear with me. But I had posted the dress form on Facebook, or Bridget had, and I've had like 10 requests already to do a tutorial, so I wanted to go ahead and do that as I uploaded the video. All that you really need for this shawl, I mean of course your own embellishments, however you want to do it, but the Tim Holtz sewing room die and just book pages. Mine's old Pride and Prejudice book. Just book pages, or you can also use, you know, double-sided paper, whatever you want to use. You can do it your own way. You'll need to cut 2 of the dress forms out of chipboard, and then you'll need to cut 16 out of the book paper. So the chipboard, you will need to cut 1 of them directly down the center. If you have a paper cutter that will do that, go for it. I just did mine with scissors. It's not perfectly centered, but it's the best I could do. So cut 1 in half down the center and then leave 1 whole. And then with the 16 pieces of book paper, you will take each one and you're going to cut off the stand of the dress form like that. And then you're going to cut right here where the neck part would be and just cut right across to there. So all of them will look like this. Okay, you guys, on my book pages, like I said, you got to cut out 16, so you would cut them all. I leave them in sets of 4, so 4, 8, 12, and then here's the other 4. And I distressed all of the edges on these except for this last one. I went in with Vintage Photo and went around all of the edges of it. You can do that or you cannot do that, it's up to you. You could, you know, do this more shabby chic instead of grungy, however you want to do it, but you just ink up all the edges on your paper. This book paper is pretty flimsy, but that step, and just keep them in groups of 4. Now I can't remember where I got that from. Right there. Your next step would be to fold these all in half, right down the middle. You're going to take each one and fold them in half, just like this. Just fold them in half. You can use your bone folder to make it a better crease if you choose to, but you're just going to do all of these in half, and I'll be right back when I have that done. Okay, you guys, I have all of them folded and just set in their groups of 4. Your next step, now you can cover these with paper. I wanted to do that on this one, but for the sake of the tutorial, I was going to show you exactly how I did the one before. But there's plenty of ways you can go with this. You could cover this with book paper or your 2-sided paper, whatever you want to do. On the original one, I painted these, so just paint your dress form with whatever paint you want to use. This is just, you can see how messy my bottle is. I think this is Vintage White. I can't even figure out where it's written at. Ivory. This is Ivory by Apple Barrel. Okay, you guys, then you'll just distress up the edges of your dress forms with whatever distress ink you want to use. I'm using Vintage Photo since that's what I used on the book pages. I'll treat you, Bob. Okay, then you're going to take a stamp, any kind you want. I think on the other one I used a script stamp, but on this one I wanted to use my big demasking stamp. And you just want to use distress ink, or you can emboss it, however you want to do it. Just stamp your dress forms. See how gross my stamp looks? I don't take very good care of them. Bless you, honey.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Okay, y'all, now what you're going to do to create the base of this, you're just going to glue to make it 3D. This is my favorite glue. I use this all the time. It's Aleene's Clear Gel Tacky Glue. It's one of my favorite. I mean, besides Glossy Accents, it's probably next up. And what you're going to do is take each of these and you're going to glue it right there to create, you know, the three-dimensional look. So you'll do one side at a time, and then of course you'll have to let it dry. You need to use a clear, dry glue. This dries perfectly clear, even better than Glossy Accents because it doesn't look glossy. It's really flat and like a matte type dry. But just put a little piece on the edge of your dress form. And then I also will go in with little pieces of hot glue just to do a little extra. Then you can just kind of go like that to take some of the excess, blot down the side of it, and then just line it up the best you can. Look and make sure it's right, and then you'll put a little dot of hot glue somewhere just so that this sets without it falling. So like take your hot glue gun and put a little dot, maybe like right there where the book paper will cover it up at. A little dot of hot glue, and then maybe up a little further, just so while that glue is drying it's not going to tilt over. Just a little bit of hot glue. Okay, and then let that dry and we'll be back to do the other part. Y'all, I just realized my head has been in the shot a lot. I really apologize y'all, but this is the first time I've done a tutorial and I'm not used to the angle of the camera and everything. But anyway, this side is pretty well dry. You can just kind of touch it to see if it's going to move. And it's good to go. So now we're going to do the other side. Same thing, just put the glue on the edge of it. You can get your glue out. Hold on a second, y'all. and then just line it up with the other side of it. It's pretty good. It's never going to be exactly perfect, obviously, so don't worry about it if it's a little crooked or a little bowed, because once you put the book papers in there, you won't be able to notice anyway. So okay, so just put the hot glue in a couple of places to keep it held up, and then just let it dry, and then I'll be back as soon as this one dries, y'all. Okay, you guys, it's had plenty of time to dry. You just want to make sure it's good and sturdy before you go any further with your book paper. If you got any glue strings or excess glue, just peel it off. You can even pick the dots of hot glue to hold it if you're that picky. I'm not. But now it should stand on its own pretty well. I still end up putting a base on it, but I mean, it'll stand just like that. So now you're going to start with your book pages, and this is a little time consuming and tedious, but what you'll do is start with, you know, each folded piece, and I keep leaving my glue upright instead of upside down, so my glue keeps running back. But anyway, you're just going to take your glue and do the same thing as far as going on the edge of it. And you actually want to leave this pretty thicker than it was on the chipboard, because it needs some good adhesion in there and these cracks. So you'll just start with one part and stick it into the middle there. And again, it won't be perfect. It probably will bow out in one part and not in the other, whatever, but once you're done with it, you won't be able to tell. So just go in with each piece and start doing that. I usually do like one side and then go to the other one, so that you're not putting too much wet glue in one part at a time. So just go all the way around and start putting your middle parts into the dress form. This one went like that, that's okay. You know, however it kind of wants to naturally do, that's fine. We can fix it up later. So just start adding your book pages all the way around, and I'll speed up the video now. And these are going to be your base, so go ahead with your bone folder and go around to each one and just kind of go down the middle so the glue is nice and spread out like so. And then let that dry before you go on to your next area. Okay, y'all, and then you're going to just go ahead and start with the other 3 remaining from one of the compartments, and just go ahead and do one compartment all at one time. It's It's really important to use a clear glue, y'all, so that way none of the glue shows through. Now that one is wanting to spread out, I can tell already, but you don't want it to. You want it to push this one this way and then put the next one in like that, so they're side by side. And not all the way the first one was, like opened up. You want to keep them close together. This is mimicking the honeycomb paper. So again, don't let it spread out. Go ahead and go in there and put your other one down. And when they dry, you have an opportunity to go back in and fluff them or change, you know, push them this way, push them that way, kind of bend them, keep them separate, you know. But as the glue dries, you can go back in and do like little piece by little piece. So let that section dry before you go to the next one. Okay, you guys, I already went ahead and went in and filled in the rest of my book pages, and this will always vary the results you get, but as you can see, it's all 3D. You'll just want to go in with your fingers when it's all dried and just start separating, and you know, with your thumb or whatever, just try to make equal distances. If you want these straighter, like I like mine distressed looking like that. But if you like your straighter, you can go in and like bend the book pages to be straight. However you want to do yours. Mine is obviously going to be grungy, so I like it like that. But yeah, all the way around, just kind of fluff it and straighten it out to however you would like. And then you can just start embellishing however you want. Mine, for the first one I did, I used a different stand. I used like the top of a Tim Holtz ribbon. I don't have one now. All I have is the base to it. So what I was going to do is just use a Prima button and glue it on top of there and then glue it to that. I'm actually just going to use hot glue to adhere this to my Prima clock. So it'll dry really quickly and I can go ahead and move forward, because this part's going to be covered up with a lot of flowers anyway, so if some seeps over, it's no big deal. If you guys want to use E600, glossy accents, whatever you want to use, is completely fine. But just adhere it to the base. This is just going to make it much more sturdy if you do it like this, as opposed to just having it freestanding. So, I mean, you can already tell that's just like way sturdier. So then I'm also going to attach that button to this, so it's kind of got some height to it, like a little stand. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just using hot glue for the sake of this tutorial, so I can move forward with it. And then just let that seep down into that little crevice and dry for just a second. You're going to need, you know, some laces, some flowers, whatever you want to use. I've got a bunch of my Iron Roses flowers out here. I keep mine in jars, different ones. So just pick whatever color scheme you want to go with and get your flowers ready. Like I said, lace for the belt. For this, I'm just going to use this little Venice lace that I had. Figure out what you want to be your front. I think I want this part to be my front. Whichever part looks the best, because it's always going to vary. I think this part looks the best. So, this is what it looks like so far, you guys. So anyway, you got your base and now it's nice and sturdy. You can start adding embellishments, and I'm going to speed up this part so you guys can just get a basis of what I did.